About a month ago, I was interviewed by a dating coach. And during the interview, she asked me, why do so many people stay in unhealthy relationships? And I pondered on it for about 15 seconds. And I gave her three reasons as to why people stay in unhealthy relationships. One of the reasons why people stay in unhealthy relationships is because they are afraid that they can't get any better than what they have. So often people stay in relationships because they've dated a person for a certain period of time and they have become accustomed to that person. And so they hide underneath the umbrella or underneath the words that states, I'm familiar with this person. When in actuality, that's just something that they've made up in that mind. Because after the person has manipulated them, after the person has lied to them, after the person has, in the modern day vernacular, done them dirty, they continue to adopt that erroneous mindset in hopes of something getting better. So they'll just stick around in hopes of something getting better, but they're actually sticking around out of fear. The second reason people stay in unhealthy relationships is because they don't want the other person to change while being with somebody else. So when we think about narcissism, when we think about dating a narcissist, one of the things about dating a narcissist is that it could be exhausting. They want to be right all the time. They want to feel validated all the time. In fact, for example, when dating a narcissist, when you argue with them, you practically have to have a tape recorder because they'll say that they said something. They'll say that they didn't say something when you know that they've said it multiple times just to state that they are right. They have to be right. They have to be validated and they have to feel secure. So they'll argue back and forth with the person. They'll try to demean the person. They'll be disrespectful and cold to the person. They lack sympathy and empathy. And yet some people will remain in the relationship with the person because they fear letting that person go and be with somebody else. They may change while they're with that other person. That's why people stay in unhealthy relationships. The third thing, another reason why people stay in unhealthy relationships, is because some people like unhealthy relationships. So they like the drama. They like the disrespect. They like being yelled at. They have become accustomed to it. So they have adopted a specific mindset and they have adapted to the ways of the person with that specific mindset. We have to be careful in what we become adaptive to. We have to be careful in the things that we become attached to. Instead of using the word toxicity, a lot of us become so attached to venomous people that we can't differentiate between a healthy relationship and an unhealthy relationship. Yeah. So I told the dating coach that if a person is in an unhealthy relationship, oftentimes, if they've dated a narcissist, they have to be super exhausted, meaning that the relationship has to nearly have exhausted them because the narcissists have put such a guilt trip on them, have demeaned them so bad that it's time for them to get out. And the last thing, and I'm going to give you a fourth thing as a bonus. A lot of people stay in unhealthy relationships is because they don't want to feel like a failure. Yeah. So they'd rather stay in a relationship than and keep working on the relationship when the relationship has already been dead a long time ago. Yeah. And so we continue to stay in things that we know that's unhealthy, that's non-beneficial, or that's unbeneficial, or that's not beneficial, depending on where you grow up. It will be the vernacular that you're using. But we stay in relationships that don't benefit us. As a matter of fact, it's unhealthy for us. But yet we stay in these relationships because we have fear. We fear feeling like a failure. When in actuality, you've already failed in a relationship by staying in something that's bringing you down. And so we keep going and going and going in hopes of one day the relationship changing for the better. When after 1 year, after 2 years, if it hasn't changed, it won't change. And so, my friends, if you're out there, sometimes it's just better to accept the relationship failing. A failed relationship, or a relationship that's a waste of time, is something that you walk away with without any lessons learned. And so what I want to offer up to you today, that if you're in a unhealthy relationship, that you let it go. Let it go. Why? Because there's a healthy relationship out there waiting for you. The days of waiting around for somebody to change, it's over. Yeah. Because if the people around you don't change, then you have to change the people around you. Yeah. If the people around you don't change, then it's up to you to change the people around you by changing them out of your life. Yeah. So start today. Make it a point of privilege to say, I no longer want to be in anything, or I no longer want to be associated with anything that's unhealthy. And your life will be proud of you. Because the worst thing that you can do is to continue on in an unhealthy relationship and your life dislikes you because you chose to be in something mediocre when you could be in something successful. Yeah. The great thing is, the time is now, but the choice is yours to choose happiness.